Hey Star, welcome to the cosmos. My name is Chrissy, and today I'm doing an island tour of my island Fringewood, and I am so thrilled to be doing this. This island is a forest town core theme, and I included in this island some cryptids. And if you don't know what a cryptid is, think Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster, and you've got it. But they are creatures that some people say they exist and science hasn't proven it yet, so they're kind of in that liminal space between. So let me show you the map real quick, which you just saw a very lovely map rendering. And that map rendering was done by Aline or dreaming.of.utopia on Instagram. So go give her some love. She did an amazing job bringing my island to life. So let me run through the villagers really quickly. I have Deirdre, Cole, Raymond, Kiki, Sherry, Louie, Avery, Roscoe, Allie, and Lobo, and each of them come together in a story that I made for this island, and I will introduce them to you as we go. So, this island gets most of its money through tourist attractions, and because of that, Tom Nook is determined that people don't find out about the monsters in the woods because then all of the income is gone. So, the entrance tour, the entrance, excuse me, veers pretty severely right towards resident services. And this entrance was a little difficult for me at the beginning because the theme was so different than my last island. But I was in the Discord server for Amira's version. She's an amazing YouTuber if you haven't seen her. And someone recommended the bus stops and the suitcase, and that really helped me start pulling things together and get moving. So I'm so grateful for that. And also, right here, I made sure to include a little hammock area in honor of my sister who loves to go hammocking. So just a little Easter egg. And then right here is resident services, and resident services is pretty central for Tom Nook works out of there, the tourists stop there, all that different stuff. And these gifts that I dropped for you, once you pick them all up, the island is a 5-star island. So there we go, there's all the gifts. Let me open them up real quick. So the two outfits that I set aside for you when you visit are either hiking outfit or the touristy outfit, and I want to wear the touristy outfit because it is just darling. So let me get that on real quick. I'm obsessed with the wide brim straw hat, so awesome. I'm ready to go. Okay, and I do have one custom code that I made for this island. It was kind of my first foray into actually trying to do a custom code instead of just words. And it is a sketch of the Jersey Devil, who is one of the cryptids on this island. It's pretty simple, and it's inspired by a 1909 sketch of the Jersey Devil, which we'll talk about later. So if you're interested in that for any cryptid shenanigans on your own island, there's that code. So going this way, I actually have a cryptid shop right at the beginning. And this was kind of funny because I intended for this museum tent to be a campground, but I did not realize that you can't move it until it is upgraded. So whoopsie. But I repurposed it into this amazing cryptid tourism shop because despite the fact that Tom Nook does not want anybody to know about the cryptids, people do. And they want to come here and they want to check out the cryptids. So I have this cute little research table right here on off to the side for all of this paraphernalia. And then Blathers, of course, loves researching the cryptids as well. And then straight over here is the shopping district, which I have Nook's Cranny right here with some, like a teddy bear for kids and a lamp for anybody who wants to go camping. Also cameras, because people need cameras if they're going to catch pictures. Get the first clear picture of a cryptid ever. And then Able Sisters right here with some touristy outfits. Again, a little kid's backpack with a teddy bear on it for the kids who come to visit. And then a swimming wetsuit for people who want to go jump in the ocean. And right down here is kind of a snacking area for people to have a nice sit between their shopping. And then over this way is where the Parks and Recreation area is. So right here is the start of the beach with the KK Slider song going. I really wanted to include KK Slider songs on this island because I had not done that before. And this little faucet here is to help you wash sand off your feet and hands when you're done at the beach. But here's a couple of resting areas for people to just enjoy. And over here is a little fishing area too. And then this is a park for all the families with the young kids to come and hang out. And then also a little soccer field for people who want to play a game. And again, with the wonderful bus stops. And then if you go up here, you get more towards the hiking area, which starts with just a cute little sitting area if you want to enjoy the waterfall and not do a whole lot of hiking. And then if you hop over the river, oh, there is the Jersey Devil and my vlogger. Oh, and Kiki, who runs in the woods at night. I'll tell you more about her later. Up this way is the campsite for people who want to rough it in the wild. They don't want to be staying at the bed and breakfast, and they just want to enjoy nature the way it is. And right here is the hidden waterfall area, and this was a ton of fun. I did this on a long play without commentary and just really got in the zone, and I had a ton of fun just creating this spot that took up so much space and really felt like the deep woods. So I hope that you, if you get to tour, that you get to come and sit here and enjoy this as well. Off to the side, it's less kept. Oh, and there's the Loch Ness Monster. It's less kept over here, so I added more wheat fields and weeds and the log stakes to make it feel more wild, as well as dirt path codes on the rocks. And down here is another just messy kind of unused area with the Loch Ness Monster's footprints. And I'm gonna make my way back out because I will have to backtrack out of this area. All right, so just coming down this incline instead of going up and towards the camping area, right here I have a rental shop for mountain biking if you would rather bike through the woods. And this is our first resident home, and this home belongs to Kiki. Kiki is my stealth operative, and she gets zoomies in the woods at night, and she is an avid camper and survivalist. And she's not home right now, so for the villagers that aren't home, I did take just a quick picture of the interiors so that you can get an idea of it. And so her interior, she's got some bows and arrows, and it's leaning towards that very independent, if I run into a cryptid in the woods, I can look out for myself kind of a feel. She is a cutie. She's also in charge of this bike rental stand, and if people get lost in the woods, she is there to help them. So she's a cutie. And then over here is Deirdre's yard, and she is a really, really sweet person who is always ready to help all of her neighbors and all of the tourists. She likes to cook food and invite people over, and she is actually home, so I'm gonna pop in real quick. So her home is super cozy, lots and lots of chairs for lots and lots of people to come and visit, and she's always cooking some yummy food. If you need anything, she's here for you. And she's also got a picture of the Jersey Devil up in that back left corner on that wall because she knows that the cryptids are real. In fact, most of the townspeople here do. So there is her place. All right, so behind Deirdre is Raymond's house, and it looks like he is actually home as well. His yard is super upkept because he is very passionate about everything just being perfect. So he's got the lawnmower, and he's got the very nice flower beds, and he is working on getting some more plants growing. And so let's stop by inside his house. Raymond fills the very important role of the non-believer. He was actually supposed to end up on a rom-com island, but the universe messed up and now he's here. And he hates Christmas, and he's a very successful businessman. So he really would have thrived in a rom-com, but now he's here and he does not believe that cryptids exist at all. He is very no nonsense. And he is lucky enough to have not seen one yet. Oh, and then you can see my character right back here. I named her Bridget for this island, and she is just darling. She runs the bed and breakfast. I'm going to say hi to her real quick. They're out there. Yes, they are. She knows it. Okay. So then over here is Cole, who is also home. And Cole has the characteristic of the very wide open eyes that I picked for a lot of villagers on this island because I really wanted to lean into that idea of you've seen something that shouldn't exist and it's pretty alarming. So he he was just perfect for this island with his character design. So I'm gonna pop in and look at his house real quick. So his house is pretty messy. And down here he's got posters and newspaper articles about Bigfoot, as well as over here he's got posters and news articles about Dogman, as well as pictures and posters for every single cryptid on this island. From left to right, it is the Loch Ness Monster, or Nessie, Dogman, which I'll explain in a bit because you're probably not familiar with him, Mothman, Bigfoot slash Sasquatch, and the Jersey Devil, who will also get more of an explanation. But he is the witness on this island. He has seen a lot. If you sit down and talk to him, he just has stories and stories and stories about all of the cryptids he has seen in the woods. And he lives right behind Sherry, one of my all-time favorite Animal Crossing characters. And Sherry is a vlogger. She once caught evidence of a cryptid on camera, and it wasn't very clear evidence, so she is trying desperately to catch evidence again. So right here I have her vlogging spot where she sits to do some of her videos. Some Bubblegum by KK Slider playing. And the inside of her house has another setup for her to do her vlogging with a nice computer, and it's very clean, it's very open, and she is very fascinated with the Loch Ness Monster, as you can see by the little picture on her tablet. But she is just a doll. I love her so much. So she's been a ton of fun to have around on this island, and she has a cruiser bike to go with Deirdre's cruiser bike, and they love going biking together. And then back here we've wrapped around towards the entrance again. And so up this incline is where the bed and breakfast is that Bridget runs, with a nice little seating area as well. And this time I actually decorated the interior pretty early on in decorating this island, because on my last island my villagers kept roasting me for having an empty house. But I think this entrance room is my very favorite. Every time I come in here it just feels really, really peaceful, and maybe it's the KK Slider song playing very, very gently. But this is the reception area for the bed and breakfast. It's got some drinks and also the computer to help you with check-in or printing something or whatever, as well as a couple magazine racks to use as something to pass the time while you're waiting, as well as a surveillance camera here because there's cryptids and they should not be coming into the bed and breakfast, but they might. This is the blue room, and this is kind of the honeymoon suite. This is for the couples who are just coming to enjoy a vacation together. So it's very relaxing and a very calm place to be. And then in the back is the green room. The green room is for the parents of little kids to come and enjoy. And so it's got a little baby bed with a stuffed animal and a doll And this one I also added the fan going and this little shopping bag to make it look like it's being used. And then to the right is the brown room, and these are the three primary colors that I used to decorate the island. The green, brown, and blue. And this brown room leans into, if you're just like traveling with a buddy, you can hang out here. So this one has a little podcast going talking about Dogman because that was one of my major inspirations for doing this island. I really, really love listening to podcasts that include people's encounters with the supernatural or cryptids or whatever. And in case you're wondering what my stance is on cryptids, they better not be real. That's my stance, and I'm sticking to it. If they are real, then we've got a lot of problems. And then upstairs is the dining area. And this is just for all of the bed and breakfast people to come and have some food. So the left side is a kitchen and cooking area. And the right side is the tables, including a high chair for anybody with their kiddos, and lots of beautiful window views, as well as another surveillance camera, just in case somebody comes to steal some pies. And then downstairs is where Bridget lives. She, as I mentioned, runs the bed and breakfast. And so I got her a bathroom, a little kitchen, a little seating area, and a bed, as well as a computer where she researches stuff about cryptids. And I love this KK Slider song. I did a lot of blue for this room. And I also included a little Nintendo Switch because we're gamers. Alright, so that's it for the bed and breakfast. And over here is another seating area for anybody with their kiddos. And down here is the private beach sector for the people who are at the bed and breakfast who just want a more secluded enjoyment of the beach. So I've got a little blanket laid out for reading and a bunch of toys with a bucket to move the sand and the water around, some beds to lay on, another KK Slider song. And it looks up into some of the terraforming that I did around the entrance, which is right to my right. And now I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Okay, so I'm back in front of Sherry's house, and off to the left from her house is a little relaxing spot for all of the actual townsfolk to get together and just chat with each other and not worry about the tourists. But they need to worry about Bigfoot and the Jersey Devil. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And this is their beach, which again I leaned more into the more messy kind of a feel, but also just more personal with the little mismatched pillows and the food out and different stuff like that. And I am a lighthouse enthusiast, so there's definitely a lighthouse there. But if you start following this path back here, you start running into the things that live in the woods. So right back here is where I have Allie, or my Loch Ness Monster, living. She has her footprints over in the sand right here. And she's not home, so I'll pop a picture up really quick. But she is very invested in beautician kind of stuff because somebody got a bad picture of her once and she is determined that will never happen again. She's very invested in that, and she loves taking baths and going swimming, and she lives right here out on the pier, so she has a little sitting area with these cute little pictures of the Loch Ness Monster, by the way. They could have been taken better so that she, get a better angle or something, but... And then here is just a cute little relaxing area for her where people will not be taking any pictures, with some snacks that she can just enjoy herself, and a little foresty spot leading up into the mountains to kind of blend in the forest part of the island. And you can see a little more from over here. You can't get up on the hill, so don't worry about it. It's just pretty. I'm gonna backtrack again. Okay, by Sherry's house again because I love her so much. Oh my gosh, Bigfoot. And I'm going to run up this incline to get away from Bigfoot. And right here is another one of the cryptid homes. And oh my gosh, we're so lucky because this is Dogman's house, this is Lobo, and he is home. So Dogman is a cryptid that has been growing in popularity in just the last decade. But if you picture essentially a werewolf, you've pretty much got it down. Like this sort of humanoid acting wolf that is just shredded. Like it goes to the gym and it runs around in the woods, but they don't only show up on full moons, and they can actually even show up during the day. So in his house, I have some car tires because there are several stories where people are getting chased in their cars, and that just seems like a very dog thing to do. And we're not going to talk about the bones in the corner, we're just going to head out. And so his yard leans more into some of the wood chopping aspect that I had going inside his house. He loves going for really aggressive nighttime or early morning jogs. So don't be out at those times. He also has a broken down car because, like I mentioned, they like to chase cars, as well as this tire here. And he is positioned between two rivers, one here on the right and one here on the left, because one of the places where people see Dogman the most is in a national park in the USA called the Land Between the Lakes, which is over in Kentucky. And if you look at a map of the land between the lakes, it looks like an inverted U shape with just like a river shape, more so than what I think a lake would look like. But I recreated that kind of a feeling with his yard, and I can't remember if I've said this already, but you get to hear it again. Dogman is my favorite cryptid, so I really loved pulling his yard together and giving him as much space as I gave him. If you go off to the right, then you get deeper into the woods, and right here is where the Jersey Devil lives, and I wish he was home, but he is not. But some fun facts about the Jersey Devil. He is another American cryptid, and the story behind him is his mom was having her 13th child. She was not happy, and she cursed her child, and the child came out with like wings and hooves and a horse head. And so now he haunts everyone in the area. But he is known for stealing pies and souring milk. I don't know why, but I made him a little bakery where he makes his pie, and I left some milk cartons out here so that he can spoil them. But on this island, the Jersey Devil specifically loves jumping out and scaring people, and he is the youngest of 13 kids, so he knows how to navigate having siblings. But his was super funny to put together because there's just so many oddly specific things about the Jersey Devil. And the 1909 sketch as well is just like, he just looks like he needs help. Like, look at him and tell me he doesn't need help. Anyway, over here is where Bigfoot lives, and I wanted him up on the third tier, very high up in the mountains, because Bigfoot is seen a lot in mountainous and foresty places. And right here I have the 12 grape dish because if you leave a food offering for Bigfoot, that's one way to get him to come out. So there's another apple over, an apple over here as another food source. And I kind of wanted to do a rock garden for him, but then I was thinking it would look too uniform. So there's just a couple rocks here. And I wanted the rocks here because Bigfoot is also known for like throwing rocks at people. You don't know he's there and he just starts chucking rocks at you. So he's got some boulders in his yard. And also here is a Bigfoot footprint. And he, on this island, is a amateur photographer. He loves taking pictures. So in his house, I made it very naturey instead of designed like the inside of a house, like most of the other houses on this island. And he's got that little camera in there because he likes taking pictures. But unfortunately, every single picture he takes is blurry. But he's working on it, you guys. He's working on it. It's been really funny having him around the island, honestly. There was a moment where I was sitting out by resident services with Sherry because she's adorable, and he was just lurking there, and I was like, man, am I looking for Bigfoot or is Bigfoot looking for me? And then down beneath and wrapping around to the right is where I put Mothman. And oh my goodness, he's also home. What a treat. But I wasn't totally sure about keeping this Grand Atlas moth here because it is so huge. But you know what? If the Grand Atlas moth gets used anywhere, it should be at Mothman's house, because Mothman is a giant humanoid moth creature that was spotted in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and it came out of a mining area and chased some teenagers in a car the first time that it was spotted. So I have a bunch of mining gear around this area with the mining carts and the little wheelbarrow over there in the cave, and then I just dumped a whole bunch of moths around here because obviously they just go together. So let me pop in his house. Avery is my resident Mothman, and he is so cute. I actually love him so much. His personality on this island is he's kind of like a lurker. One of the lore pieces about... Can I get by? Thank you, sir. One of the lore pieces about Mothman is they think that maybe he is supposed to prophesy when something bad is about to happen, because he was sighted near a specific bridge that then collapsed really soon after that, and it was a very, very, very bad collapse. It happened during rush hour, and so there were a lot of cars on the bridge. So they think that maybe he's some kind of an omen. So in this island, I made him a lurker. He just lurks, and he is also an avid horoscope reader. So if your horoscope has something not good on it, you can bet your bottom dollar he's going to let you know. And that concludes the tour of my island, Fringewood, with all of its perps and wonky people. And the tour was too short, you guys. I am so obsessed with this island. But on one of my previous tours, someone commented and said that they would love to see it in wintertime. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're so right. It would be so fun to see this island in different kinds of seasons, times of day. So I put together some really brief clips of Fringewood at different times of the year to just close out the video if you would like to check those out. If not, that's totally fine. I am so grateful for your time. Thank you for coming and checking out this island with me. It has been a super fun passion project, and I have seriously enjoyed it. And if you're interested in more, I'm going to be starting on a Gothic island pretty soon here once I finish my tropical resort challenge, and that Gothic island will have lots of Edgar Allan Poe inspirations to lean into the Halloween season. So like and subscribe if you're interested in that, and I just hope that you have a stellar day. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next time.